I'm watching the media, man, they full of lies. They so damn good at how they polarize. I'm so damn tired of this politicized society manifesting right before my eyes. Really shouldn't even be a surprise. We sit back while the pack of wolves colonize. Watching tours of celebrities apologize. Photo ops in a war-torn paradise. Left or right to stoke the flame, whichever the way the wind blows, still in the game. In the insane asylum, the patient's taking over. The head of the state is past the prime, I told ya. Let the white and the black sheep to the wolf's den. Offered up on a platter to the dragon. And then they'll do it again. We keep our head in the sand, it's never over. I'm in an open air world till they shut it down. We can have it all, I can see it now. Open air dreaming. I'm in that open air dream till they shut it down. We can have it all, but it's falling down.
Welcome. I'm your host, Sean D. James, and this is the Take Podcast, a member of the Royal Aquatic Network, where we cover the news that isn't considered popular or relevant enough in today's media landscape, and some things that are. Global news and topics from all continents. Yes, even Antarctica will be covered, ranging from environmental, culture and entertainment, politics, history, and economics. So with that being said, let's dive on in. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Take Podcast. And I want to start things off right from the jump by giving a big thank you, because I finally went through my Spotify, saw the wrap up, and I was like, wow. First of all, 3 new countries are on the list. Now, I was being biased. I really was. Because it is a shock to see that I finally have gotten Canada a part of the list. Like, really? Now, like I said, I'm being biased. It's the North American bias. It's like, hey, if I'm in the U.S., of course I'm going to get some Canadian listeners. Of course I'm going to get some listeners from Mexico. It's like, damn. There's just saying that out loud. It's like, I have not actually gotten listeners from Mexico. I just got Canada. It's like, damn, I need to up my game. But I figured it would happen. And I actually got India and Bangladesh. India, I figured would happen because of the interview on the second show, a part of the network, Ion, Influence of Network. And the interview I had with the lovely CEO of Clindicast, Miss Anita Nayak. So if you haven't seen that or you haven't listened to the audio version, by all means, take a look at that after this is over. But that definitely helped increase the audience listenership. And then to see that the most shared episode was my interview with Dr. Amir Rashidian. I'm like, okay, these interviews have got to be, I need to up my game for real. These interviews are definitely helping to grow the network. But the shocker to me was the most listened to episode. The shocker, but also made me feel good, is that I have a lot of pet lovers out there, was episode 15, the pet ban. That episode was the most listened to one. I'm like, let's get it. All the pet lovers out there, what's up? Now, with all that being said, let's get into today's episode. So there were quite a few things that took place leading into the Thanksgiving holiday and even more after. Now, these 3 topics are going to take us to multiple countries. on 4 continents. So let's start with the first topic, inflation. With most people cooking, watching an NFL game, or, spending time with family here in the US on Turkey Day, the central bank for the country of Turkey, yeah, decided that it was time to raise interest rates by 500 basis points, bringing them to 40%. That's double what economists had foreseen for the Middle Eastern country and NATO member. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you heard me correct. Turkey's central bank decided to raise 500 basis points. Yeah. In October, it had a 61% inflation rate. So this move is meant to help fight the, high level of inflation and falling currency. Now, according to the article by Miss Natasha Turek, the country's currency, the lira, look, guys, I take a side moment just to say how I love words and names. When I see their currency called like lira, dude, the pronunciation, the spelling of it, it just looks good. Like that, like the dollar. Screw the dollar. Like, can we change the name of the dollar to something else, please? Because the lira just looks good and sounds good. Just saying. Okay, getting back to it. The lira is down 35% year to date. Now, I'm cool with the name change, but we don't have to devalue the currency. If that's the compromise, never mind, I'll keep the dollar. But once again, this is year to date. When compared to the dollar, and it has dropped 80% over the past 5 years. An 80% drop in your currency for 5 years? Whew. That is extremely devastating for the country. For any country for that matter. I remember when I joined the Robinhood app, one of the first stocks I had was Turkcell. It's a telecom stock that has been up and down, and for the past 5 years, it's actually been down 18%. Look, the only reason I had this stock, it was because it had a nice dividend every quarter. But once again, that's a rocky stock to have. I mean, up and down like a roller coaster for 5 years, and then you're down 18% over the past 5. Look, this isn't financial advice. This is just my insight from what I saw when I had it and why I decided to just not keep anymore. Just had the dividends, it was nice, but sold it and I reinvested into other stocks. This inflation thing, it was touched on back in the episode 3 when we just first getting started with this podcast. And that episode was titled Tickets of Gold and Citizenship. This is what had me looking back at Argentina and their wild rate of inflation. And Argentina had quite an interesting week during Thanksgiving. And this is what leads me to my next topic. The new Argentine president. They say we have a housing shortage going on right now. Not just here in America, but all around the world. And they say the issue is shortages, from labor to supplies to buyers. But one company has chosen to put themselves at the forefront of being a solution to that problem. And that company is Boxable. Boxable is a Las Vegas, Nevada based company that specializes in prefab modular homes with a twist. And that twist is innovation. You see, they've taken the assembly line model and applied it to their 170,000 square foot factory. This has allowed them to develop the Casita. The Casita is Boxable's first modular design. This unit is a 375 square foot, 20 by 20, water, bug, and mold resistant, fire retardant, and high winds. Oh, it can withstand high winds. Full kitchen, full bathroom, and wheelchair accessible dwelling unit. Now, all that sounds good, but what makes it really stand out? You said they do an assembly line, man. Okay, cool. Okay. What makes it really stand out? Well, this is where the innovation comes into play. Because your 20 by 20 dwelling unit is foldable. And when I say foldable, I mean just that. It folds down to an 8.5 wide by 12 foot tall, easy and efficient shipping unit. This is what innovation looks and sounds like. Not only that, but upon delivery, it can be set up and ready to go within an hour. Yes, an hour. No more of those, you know what, I think I want an attachment to the house. Maybe we should get an ADU. We could use an additional dwelling unit. Make a little extra money with, Airbnb, Verbo, or just put it online. Hey, we have a housing unit available. Well, with Boxable, that's a possibility now. So, the question here is, what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description below and see what the future looks like for renters and home buyers alike. Because with a modular unit, prefab homes, the possibilities are always endless. Okay, this is going to be a quick one, so let's just breeze on through this. So the new president-elect, Javier Milei, won on Sunday, November 19th, with a 56% of the vote. Okay, 56% of the vote was for you. That's a good, for me, I feel that's still close. I think when you hit 60 and up, then it's like, all right, yeah, we got that. Now, if you turn around, you want like 70 and more, it's like, all right, bro, you got your ass whoops. Gee, that's a landslide victory. But when you're still in the 50s, I was pretty close. I was pretty close. I want to give a shout out to Jack Nicas, the Brazilian bureau chief for the New York Times. He also covers its southern neighbors. So, along with Brazil, he covers Paraguay, Argentina, Chile, and Uruguay. His article on this topic was well covered, and it will be in the show notes down below, as everything always is for resource material. And I read through his article, and I was just like, yo, good shit, my guy. So, Javier Milei used to be a TV personality before he entered into politics in 2021. This dude is wild. Like, look, I know people talk about his hair and his antics and this and that, but like the whole chainsaw representation of him getting at the old way of the government, changing things around. Like basically you're gonna tear things down to start anew. Yeah, all that's like theatrics, whatever. For me, it's the stuff he said before he got into politics. This quote, this quote was one of those. If somebody sent it to you, or if it was like a meme, you are literally responding with a crying emoji face. You are literally putting in all caps, laugh my ass off. You don't even put like the abbreviation like LMLA, like LOL, like no. You're literally going to type the whole word in. This dude said, the state is a pedophile in a kindergarten with the children chained up and bathed in Vaseline. What? What? Who says shit like that? Like the state is a pedophile. So the government is a pedophile. We are all the children. We have been bathed in Vaseline and we are chained up. What? Dad, I was like, yo, he said this on TV? He said this on TV? Oh, this is somebody who's like, when he was running for presidency, he had some wild off the wall comments. Like I broke the wall. Like I broke the wall. I Mr. Kool-Aid man that wall. Like, oh yeah, that statement was wild. I couldn't get over that statement. I'm like, yo, he really said that. And so it's like, if you said these kind of comments and you got into politics in 2021, how did you okay, let's take a look at this. You was a TV personality. You did your little comments on TV, this and that, hosting. Okay, cool. In 2021, you decided to get into politics. So he entered into the lower Congress in 2021. And in 2023, he won a race for presidency. In a 2-year span, during a global pandemic, my man went from hosting a TV show, having off-the-wall comments, to get into politics and joining the lower Congress, to winning the race for presidency by 56%. Talk about a fast ascent. Like, wow. The thing that gets me is how so many people kept comparing him to former US President Trump or former president of Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro. And always talking about his wildly unkept hair. The thing that gets me is the need for comparisons. Like, seriously, we saw the comparisons to other people. The hair makes me think about Sam Bankman-Fried. The guy who had that crypto thing. And he was like, oh, my exchange is going to do all this and that. And it technically just was, people lost money. Athletes were saying, oh, this is the best cryptocurrency exchange to mess with. And all this and that. Actors saying it. My man donated all that money to those politicians, both Republican and Democrat, for the purpose of making good cryptocurrency laws for himself. Yeah, that's Sam Bankman-Fried. That's what it sounds like when you talk about this guy's wildly unkept hair. Because it's all they kept talking about with Sam Bankman-Fried and how he just dressed so normal. Or, you know, his quick rise is similar to that of Trump. Somebody who was, just like him, a TV personality, got into politics. Trump wanted to be a Democrat, which he was. Democrats didn't want him, so he said, well, screw you. I'm going Republicans. And then he won. And finally, it's the Bolsonaro comparison. And I go, you know what? That's an easy one to figure out. He's in Argentina. He's in Brazil. They're both South American. Duh. That's the comparison. But is there any other reason to really compare them besides the fact they're from the southern hemisphere? They're from one of the southern continents? I almost feel like that is it right there. Now, this is what they're getting at. Like, once again, it says it in the show title, The Take Podcast, where facts and opinions matter. And in my opinion, those are all ploys to make you think Malay is a bad man. Seriously. I really feel as though those are designed to make you think bad man. Because you're comparing them to Trump and all the negative stuff he has going on. What was it? 92 indictments last time I heard. Like, what? You got 92 indictments? Bolsonaro lost re-election and apparently is hiding out or chilling in Florida. And Sam Bankman-Fried is still going through court trials, trying to be at home while still giving interviews, incriminating himself, trying to put the blame on others, and they're just roll the dice. You lose, Snake Eyes. It's back on you, Freed. It almost feels like that's what they're trying to get at with him. Like, I don't know if we could trust him. The real issue, though, is that he's considered an outsider. Not a part of the usual duopoly of politics. Him being a libertarian is something that scares our structure. And when I say our structure, I'm talking about here in the United States. The man has become president of the country with the third highest rate of inflation in the world. Where two out of every 5 people are in poverty. So 2 out of every 5 people are in poverty. You have the third highest inflation rate in the world. I'm just gonna say right here, right now, I actually didn't check to see who the other 2 were, but I'm damn sure Turkey has taken number 1 now. Yeah, 2 out of 5. In April of 2020, when the pandemic hit and was in full effect globally, the Argentine peso had a 80-to-1 ratio to the US dollar. Yeah, 80-to-1. Now, I mean, if you're in Europe and you use the pound, once again, the pound to dollar is pretty close. Even the euro is close enough. So that 80-to-1, maybe a 76-to-1, I want to say. Maybe something as low as 60. The minimum. But still, that's a good pay ratio right there. Payout. Okay. So In November, that 80-1 drastically dropped. And when I say drastically, I mean more like 1,000-1. Yes. Yeah, you heard correctly. 1,000-1. In the span of what? A little over 3 years? You go from 80-1 to 1,000-1 in your currency? Devastation. Devastation. An analyst poll by the Central Bank of Argentina had forecast that the inflation rate will, close the year out above 169%. Say what? 169%? That's what you're forecasting? January 1st hit. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy 169. Happy 69. 169. Inflation. Oh, I didn't hear the 1. I just heard the 69. Be like, no. This. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Like, turn one devastating moment to awkward moment back to just another devastation of awkwardness. This, yeah. 169%. That. Now, this was in September. In November, the inflation was already at 143%. 143. So in September, you said 169% is what we should expect the inflation rate to be in Argentina come January 1st. Yet in November, it was already at 143. Now the estimates are looking like they're going to hit 185% by the year end. 185? You went up 16% more in the span of 2 months. Yo, this right here, it's easy to see why he wants to get rid of the central bank and change the nation's currency from the peso to the dollar. Yeah, these are some of the things that Javier Milei wants to get done. He wants to get rid of the central bank of Argentina and change the nation's currency from the peso to the dollar. That 1,000-1 ratio is it's gonna be wild, bro. But I mean, hey, it's what he campaigned on after all. Some of his other campaign objectives were to lower taxes. I mean, come on, everybody talks about lowering taxes. So the big thing to me was to get rid of the central bank. You're talking about lowering taxes. What else you got here? What else you got, my guy? He wanted to privatize state industries. Wait. State industries like natural resources, oil and gas, hospitals, law enforcement, transportation. You want to privatize all that? Okay, my man's making some bold statements here. And the one thing that got me going, all right, you're a libertarian. There's something I actually expected you to say, and that was voucher-based education system. I've heard Robbie Suave bring this up all the time on Rising when it comes to education with him and Brianna. And he's like, just give him a voucher system. That's all we gotta do. Like, Brianna, look, just do that. It solves everybody's problems. You have a voucher. You want to go to this school. You're not bound by where you live. You want to go kid over here. There's no faking the address. It's all covered. You're good. A voucher system take care of it. And I'm like, yeah, this was so libertarian. This was such a libertarian move. But I'm not gonna lie, a voucher based education system, when I hear them talk about it, I'm like, that sounds pretty good. Like I went to a good school, so for the most part. But voucher based, yeah, I definitely would not have been in my county. If I had to stay within my county, yeah, it was still options. It was definitely still options, but it would have been a definitely a mean commute. Like it would have been a mean commute to work to work. Wow, to school. But I like the idea of voucher based. The way I see it though, overall, he was chosen to be president because, plain and simple, he became the alternative to the status quo, like Trump was for the U.S. I didn't vote for Trump. Because once again, he wasn't the status quo, and I wasn't into politics. So when I saw this shit with Trump, I was just like, he's gonna run the country. I think he's gonna run the country like a business, and I don't think that's a good thing. We need somebody who needs to know politics. I think a politician should be in there, and that was me being naive, not educating myself. Voted for Hillary. Thank God she didn't win. If I could go back, would I have voted for Trump? No, he won anyway. I most likely would just voted third party, somebody else. But once again, he wasn't a part of the status quo. With the way things are going now, in my honest opinion, I see the same thing taking place more and more globally with consistent unrest. I mean, people are getting tired of the same old BS that's going on, and they're like, "Look, we're tired of it. Look at Africa, with Western African countries like Burkina Faso and Niger telling France, yo, F off. Argentina saying they're tired of the same old, and people that voted for him say, look, most of us don't, we don't agree with a lot of his viewpoints, but we want something different. Here in the U.S., Trump was there. Then we got Biden. Now people are saying, look, we don't want either one. Like, realistically, we don't want either one. But what's being forced down people's throat? Like, what's just being forced down their throats? Biden or Trump? Biden or Trump? You gotta vote Biden if you don't want Trump. You do want Trump? Well, I mean, he's indicted, so I mean, you better look at these other candidates. But the Democratic Party, who else y'all got? Who else is running? Now, I personally know there's other people running, but as far as Democratic Party and the media that backs them, they want you to know that there is nobody else running. No, trust us, there is nobody else running. And this is how you get stuff like civil unrest when somebody gets shot, or anything with the police, or they say something happened with other people, black person, white person, or any other race, and they go, racism, this is civil unrest. The truth is, you just stressed the fuck out. The one thing I would say, no matter what, it doesn't matter how bad things get, people find a way to spend money. And I know I said, oh, let's just breeze through this. But this story, this entire topic, I was like, damn, I really thought I was going to breeze through it real quick. And it definitely was not a breeze through. Let's see if topic number 3 is actually going to be a breeze through. Hey, Sean here. I wanted to take this time to talk to you about a foundation that could use some assistance. The Welsh Rugby Academy is a foundation developed and ran by former Ugandan women's national team player, Miss Fortunate Irakonda. She's providing children an opportunity at a future with sports, teamwork, and leadership development. But in the end, there's only so much one person can do on their own. So I'm asking you to take the time and click on the link in the description to the Welsh Rugby Academy and join the likes of York Rugby League Football Club in England, the European Rugby League, and yours truly, in aiding communities with a brighter future. For more about potential sponsorship or even partnership, Ms. Irakonda's information will be below. Thank you for your time, and now back to the show. With all this talk of inflation and people being strapped for cash, people sure did find a way to spend on Black Friday all the way through to Cyber Monday. In an article, it was stated that 75% of US-based customers had expected to spend the same amount of money as they did last year, but are expecting more bang for their buck this holiday season, which I found funny. I find it funny because it's like you expect the money you're spending to stretch a little further on the things you're buying. You expect it to be more entertainment for your buck, better use case. Like that whole I want to get the bang for my buck thing is just so weird to me. I think it's just the statement. I think it's just the statement itself that it sounds weird. But once again, you expect to spend the same amount of money, but get more within the following year because somehow something was going to come out, a product or whatever, and it was going to be worth the value. Okay. One way to have your customer base feel satisfied is by following retailers like Home Depot, Target, or Macy's, and roll out your sales as early as October. More and more I notice that quickly there's a transition from Halloween to Christmas each year. This is consistently becoming something of the norm, which makes holidays seem irrelevant to me. Like, where's the Thanksgiving stuff at? Thanksgiving is like an interim champ. It's simply a placeholder, something that's there to pacify the people. Like, I look at people put up all the ornaments, all decorations, everything for Halloween. Get it right. Then Halloween ends and it's like, alright, if I don't touch it on this weekend, I'm definitely going to do it next weekend. Boom. Christmas stuff is going up. Like, really? Already? You're not going to wait till like after Thanksgiving passed to put that up? Like, nah, I'm going to put it up now. I ain't going to cut the lights on. I'll cut them on to see how everything look, make sure we're good with the design, the layout, everything. But otherwise, nah, I'm good. So what about Thanksgiving? Well, when I'm off work, we're going to be here eating and we're going to relax. Aside from that, it's like Thanksgiving is just that random holiday in the middle that you just have a day off from work, get holiday pay, and have an excuse to just be gluttonous, apparently. Yeah. You're the placeholder. Thanksgiving, that's your purpose in life now. You're just there to make people feel like they can just pig out on food, apparently. But let's get back to these sales. The numbers show that online sales had risen 7.8% this year compared to last year for Cyber Week. Yeah, Cyber Week. This this is my first time ever hearing that term. But apparently Cyber Week is the 5 days from Thanksgiving to Cyber Monday. So in those 5 days over the past year, online sales went up by 7.8%. To add on to that, e-commerce sales on Cyber Monday went up by 9.6% this year, for a grand total of $12.4 billion. Yes, you heard that correctly. $12.4 billion. Yet, US-based customers all said, hey, we plan on spending the same. So I guess that, those increases of 7.8% and 9.6% must have been overseas, from outside the U.S. borders, apparently. It's numbers like these that has the government talking about how good the economy is, how Bidenomics is working, and that's just all BS of people struggling check to check. Yeah. Well, some way, somehow, people got this money to have companies have a very profitable quarter. When going through both of these articles, from Forbes and Snacks from Robinhood, yeah, Snacks is Robinhood's like weekly digest, so to catch you up on things that's been going on relevant within the financial sector. I completely forgot I had it. Like, I started to see my emails and I was like, what? Snacks? I was like, oh, Robinhood. Wow. Okay, well, let me go through and see what's up. Yeah. When going through the articles, the one thing I was looking for was the info on payment plan services. Because, like I said, the money had to come from somewhere for these numbers to increase this year compared to last year. And lo and behold, it led me to BNPL, Buy Now, Pay Later. Yeah, Buy Now, Pay Later hit an all-time high on Cyber Monday with an astonishing 42.5% increase when compared to last year. 42.5% increase in Buy Now, Pay Later. Well, that explains where that 9.6% increase came for, and that 7.8% for the year itself as well. Okay. Let's go a little further here. The CEO of Sezzle, I was curious how you supposed to pronounce that thing. I had to hear somebody say it. The Buy Now, Pay Later, if you see it pop up when you want to check out, SEZZLE. Yeah. Sezzle. I was like, Sizzle? Sezzle? I was seriously confused on how they supposed to pronounce that. But their CEO, Charlie Youakim, said that the inflation rates and tighter budgets is to thank for this 42.5% increase. And I would have to agree with that. I felt that this was going to be a major factor in the holiday shopping this season. And honestly, I feel it's going to be even more of a contributor going forward. I personally used these options when I was doing a checkout. I wanted to try some new things, and I was like, I don't want to pay the full price. I'm just going to turn around to the payment plan shit right there. And when my next check come, it'll all just be taken care of right there. Just so I can have everything already accounted for that I'm about to buy, and I'll be good to go. Yeah, fuck it, I'll do that. And the one thing it did, it reminded me of when stores had this option. Like, I remember when these options of Hey, you want to get that item, but you don't want to go, you know, missing after you try to hide it in a shelf somewhere. By all means, come over here. Come to this section of the store and we'll take care of it for you. Now, for those listeners that are maybe you're too young to remember, or you might not have even been born at the time, but there used to be a section in the store, well, in most retail stores, near the customer service section or by the bathrooms, and it was called the layaway department. This section was where you did your in-store version of buy now, pay later. The difference was you pay a bit, buy a bit, and then this item we have on hold for you is yours once your payment is complete. And if you miss a payment, it's first come, first serve on this item. Plain and simple. You was off a payment. I remember I can't remember if it was a Walmart or one of those old stores that just went out of business. I think it was like Caldors, I believe it was called. And a lady was pissed because she had missed a payment or something like that. And she came in and was like, oh, here's my payment for this month and the next month. Like, yeah, I'm going to put this payment down. It was like, man, we understand you're giving us a payment now, but you've missed a month. So you're kind of asked out here. You missed a payment. Like, you know the setup, the rules here. She's like, that's bullshit. I done paid this. It's sold out. And it was like, ma'am, these are the rules. You could have tried to hide it somewhere on the shelf, but that wasn't going to work. People are fixing aisles. It's holiday season. We're trying to make sure everything stays looking presentable. That was your only option. You missed a payment? Oh, well, it is what it is. I look at it, and I'm just like, I feel like this is almost a version of, like, the buy now, pay later feels like it's the combo of layaway. And when I was talking about it with Akeem, my boy Akeem, he said the same thing. He was like, he was listening to a podcast and they brought it up. It's like, it's almost like a more efficient way of credit card usage. And I'm like, yeah, it really does feel like that. Like, here's a loan where we're loaning. Like, you're saying, hey, you're good for the money. The only difference is you didn't pay for it up front and then you got to pay back. It's like, no. We gave it to you in advance. Now pay back. I almost feel as though at some point it's like you won't even be in store for this. The only reason to go in store would be for the purpose of just looking at something and then just being like, okay, I tried it on, done, there it is. Hey, I looked at it. I think I look good in that. You know what? Let me even try an AI generated image of it with my body and everything. See how it looks. Oh, it looks good. Okay, boom, buy. I'm just gonna turn around and buy a whole bunch of stuff now in advance and pay for it bit by bit, different time periods. This week, two this week, that week. Be like, I can see that really going forward. I really can. But just to think back how things used to be in store, and now it's just online, mobile. It's interesting to see how things have changed. But like I said, I wanted to try to make this a little quicker so we could have this podcast done. And I wanted to close things out with 4 statistics that took place with this whole holiday shopping thing. So, the first statistic provided by Adobe Analytics: 59% of online sales were done by smartphones on Thanksgiving. I mean, if you say Black Friday, then I'm a part of that mobile setup because it was efficient. Sitting there relaxing on the floor, Done. Alright. Better go finish reading. It was that simple. Statistic number 2. There was a 2.1% increase in foot traffic on Black Friday, while there was a 1.5% increase over the Black Friday weekend at physical stores. Now, with all these numbers I've been throwing out being double digits, and the 7.8 was a small one, but to only have a 2.1% or even a 1.5% for the whole weekend, and this information came from Retail Next. I'm being honest that, once again, the signs are there that eventually majority of retailers are going to die out, and you're either going to be acquired, merger and acquisition, or you're just going to just die out, and that's it. And people will just say, hey, look, we're sending out supplies to Target and Walmart or directly to Amazon. The third statistic, provided once again by Adobe Analytics, was that $940 million in online spending was from BNPL purchasing. So, buy now, pay later purchasing. Did we not say on Cyber Monday 42.5% of it was buy now, pay later? $940 million. That's a good chunk of number right there that contributed to those quarterly profits for a lot of companies. And the fourth and final statistic here, 200.4 million shoppers across websites and stores over the 5-day weekend. Once again, Cyber Week, from that Thanksgiving Thursday through to that Cyber Monday. An all-time high. Yeah, that is an all-time high number. And this information was provided by the National Retail Federation, the NRF. Once again, something else I did not know even existed. Ah, man. All in all, the only positive of this is it looks like with this comes the end of those YouTube videos, social medias, like, shares, reposts of those doorbuster sales. When people start trampling over people, the employees, fights break out, riots. Honestly, it looks like this is the end of those. But quick side thing. Speaking of riots, I know I said I was only going to cover 3 topics, and I really had a 4th one I wanted to touch on. So I'm gonna have that as a separate talk. I'm gonna put that over on wisdom. Most likely I'll do that Thursday morning. Matter of fact, I'm off Thursday. Forgot to put that vacation day in for the holiday. So Thursday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to touch on the events that took place in Ireland and how things have basically, let's say, echoed across the whole European Union. That's what I'll be looking at doing. So we're going to end it there. This has been good recording again. So, ladies and gentlemen, as always and forever, enjoy yourself, enjoy the day, and stay prosperous. Peace.
Are you getting the feeling this war is infinite? It's on you, it's on me, it's on everything. But the ones in power, they never change a thing. It's your fault that the world burns every day. You pay the cost for the conflict on the screen. You ain't the boss, so you better pick a chosen team. The ship is sinking, but Hollywood keeps you entertained, so you don't question the reality behind the scenes. It's just a spell and I hope it breaks, like a fever on a summer day. I'm an optimist, it's never too late. It's looking pretty catastrophic, but we never sway or falter. An assault is clearly underway. It's a battle for your mind, like they always say. Living in these times, I can only pray. I can only pray. I'm in an open air world till they shut it down. We can have it all, I can see it now. Open air dreaming. I'm in that open air dream till they shut it down. Have it all.